Barbarians. You know, I've been streaming for a while now over at twitch.tv/VanBradley. Link in the description if you haven't gone and checked out the stream yet. We stream Civ like 3 or 4 times a week. In that stream, a lot of people recently, especially since the last patch, have said something along the lines of, "Hey VB, what's up, dude? I've been trying to play Civilization 6. The barbarians are out of control, and I don't know what to do. Being jerks, they hate me, they hate my family, they hate me twice, and I don't know how to deal with them." And the answer is this video. For the next couple minutes, you're gonna get tips. You're gonna get tricks. You are going to get, trying to think of a third word, and those can be applied to your Civ games to help you deal with the barbarians. My name is Bradley. Welcome to the clan. Hope you enjoy the video. We are now in a game of Civilization 6. I normally recommend that new players pick Rome as a starting leader. So for any of these tutorials, anytime I can, I usually play Rome. The first thing we are going to talk about today is how barbarians find you and what makes them specifically want to haunt you in your nightmares. A barbarian scout has now found our city of Rome. What the barbarian scouts are trying to do is they're trying to find your city so they can go back and tell their barbarian friends back at the encampment that your city exists and then it's there to destroy, kind of like inviting friends to a destruction party. Alright, so this scout here, once it finds my city, wants to go tell all of its friends that. How do you know if a scout has found your city? Well, you need to wait until it has an exclamation point over its head. Now that the scout has moved one tile closer to the city, we can zoom in and see that there's an exclamation point over its head, which means it has found my city and will immediately retreat back to the encampment. There are two options of dealing with this when this happens. You either need to kill the scout before it can go back and tell all of its friends that you exist, or you can kind of keep the scout distracted. If it doesn't get back to the encampment, it will not be able to tell its friends that you're here. So if you keep it distracted and you can keep it around this area without ever letting it get back to the encampment, even if it's seen you, its friends won't come along. They haven't gotten the word yet. The messenger hasn't arrived with the intel, right? So two options: kill the scout or keep it distracted. One of the first opportunities you are going to have to kill barbarians just a little bit easier before they can invite their barbarian city-killing friends to the party in Rome is when Code of Laws is researched. When you first research Code of Laws, you will have the opportunity to put the Discipline card in. That Discipline card gives you +5 unit combat strength when fighting barbarians, obviously making fighting them easier. The other option is also Survey, which I do not recommend in most games. So not only is Discipline going to help you, it's generally a very, very good pick regardless of whether you're actually fighting barbarians or not. So you can just slide Discipline right in there. Now that we have Discipline selected in our first government after Code of Laws is researched, you can see in the bottom right corner we are getting 25 combat strength just as a base level archer, but we are also getting that +5 from Discipline there against barbarians as well. You can see that in the bottom right, so you know it's activated if you check before you make the attack to make sure that +5 is enabled. So I have left the scout alone in this run through here, and I have let the scout go back and tell all of its friends that we exist. So as you can see, this scout ran back this way to its encampment, another scout came by here and ran to its encampment, and now a bunch of barbarians are in my capital because I let the scouts go and find all of their friends. Now that there are barbarians in my capital city, the encampments will continue to spawn more barbarians that in turn know that we exist and will join the destruction party in Rome. So they will come from their encampments and meet us in our capital city. Obviously, we want to kill these barbarians, but you should know before we resort to combat that if the barbarian units kill one of your units in the process, the encampment that unit came from will spawn units at a quicker pace. So it's in your best interest to not only kill the barbarians, but to make sure your units are not being killed by barbarians in the process. One of the best ways and most underrated ways to kill barbarians in your cities is to actually take a ranged unit like an archer, stick it in the city. That play is pretty common, but actually giving it as its first promotion Garrison instead of volley can be really, really powerful. This is something I've been doing a lot more in my streams lately. People on Twitch have been recommending it to me more and more because of how powerful it is in the early game. So if you go and click Garrison here, not only will you get the +10 combat strength because it is garrisoned in the city, you'll also get the +5 on top of that you are already getting from your policy card at the beginning of this video. As you can see in the bottom right, we now have the 25 combat strength from being an archer, the 5 combat strength boost from our policy card selection that we covered earlier in the video, and we have that plus 10 from Garrison now, allowing this one archer with all 3 of those things, something very easy to do in the early game, to just straight up take out a whole barbarian archer here. It wasn't a whole archer, but you can see the kind of damage you can do having one archer sitting in your capital or sitting in your city center. Garrison doesn't have to be your capital, it can be any city center. I believe it works on forts as well. You won't have forts this early in the game, but Garrison can be a really powerful tool to put on an archer to just kind of snipe barbarians as they approach your city and do lots of damage. This part is pretty self-explanatory, but if you want the encampment to stop producing barbarians, you have to go and kill the encampment. Pretty easy to do. You have to find the encampment. You have to clear out the barbarians that are in there. If you strike a killing blow, it'll clear the encampment automatically if it's a melee unit. If it's a ranged unit, you have to step on the encampment. But either way, once you step on the encampment, it will clear. You will get your prize, and now no more barbarians can spawn there. So the scout that came from this direction, it came over here, told all its friends we exist. Now those friends are dead. One of the situations you might stumble upon in your games of Civ that make barbarians a little bit tricky is what happens if you come up to an encampment like this. You have your warrior, you haven't either picked discipline. In this case, I didn't pick discipline just to make the tutorial make sense, but you either haven't picked discipline, you've picked survey, or you don't have code of laws yet, so you can't get this plus 5 combat strength. You've just got one warrior against a garrisoned spearman in an encampment and against the scout. How are you going to win this? And the answer is to take advantage of the fact that barbarians can't heal, just like this. So I have made my first attack with this warrior. The scout decided not to attack me, which is awesome. I'm actually going to make this second attack here, even though it seems like a terrible idea, considering the spearman is going to have yellow health and I'm going to have red health, according to the roll at the bottom. We have made both of our attacks. We have low health. The spearman has yellow health. We obviously cannot make this next attack or we will die. What we are going to do is actually back up a tile, and we are going to fortify until healed right here. Now, you don't need to heal until you're fully healed up, but what you will notice is if you back away, this spearman here is not going to get any healthier. It's going to stay halfway, but we can heal our unit. So this warrior can just speed up a little bit or heal up a little bit. Eventually, too, on the next attack, it's going to get a promotion, which is awesome. Right, so we can take advantage by backing off just a little bit, take advantage of the fact that this spearman is not going to be able to heal, and our warrior is. It has now been 3 turns since our last attack. I attacked the scout with this warrior for fun, but no interaction has been had between these two units. Here, the scout is just tucked away on this back corner. So as you can see, the spearman, who I've not attacked in 3 turns, haven't touched it at all. This warrior's just been fortified here. The spearman is not healed, still at the exact same yellow health it was earlier, but my warrior is now much more prepared to do its job. So we can hop in. It is now a minor victory for us, which I feel comfortable with. So we will attack there. Now we have our promotion as well, which is awesome. And, well, that was lame. But anyways, we can come right back up here, and you can either take the promotion and then attack next turn, which is always the safest play. But just for the illustration of this, just in case you don't get a promotion or whatever, we're just going to take out this encampment. And that is done. That is how you kill a barbarian encampment. You can do it with just one warrior, no promotions, no fancy pants stuff. Just take advantage of the ability to heal when your opponents, the barbarians, cannot. Another thing that's really good for you to know if you are stressing out with barbarians is that they cannot take your capital. They can take and raise all of your other cities, but they cannot take your capital. So if you're in a situation like this, where you have an archer, 2 warriors, and more barbarians coming, know that they cannot take this city. So you have time, no matter what, to build an archer here, get a few hits in, and get that garrison promotion. This city cannot be taken because it's my capital by barbarians. I'm going to try and simulate this by just letting them attack me. I've deleted all my units. I'm building builders to just delete them. I'm going to see how much they can attack me, just to show you that no matter what they do, they cannot take this city. It has now been like 10 turns, and they have not attacked me once. They seem to be so threatened by my builders that they're retreating. Filming a tutorial is hard. I have tried everything I can to convince the barbarians to attack me. I've reloaded this game like 6 times. It's right there. He's right freaking there. He just won't. I have no idea. I don't know why the barbs aren't attacking me. I've given them things to pillage. I'm building a district they can stand on. Anyways, the moral of the story is, Barbarians cannot destroy your capital. They can pillage everything, they can attack your city, they can get you down to 0 walls, 0 health, but they cannot destroy your capital. Therefore, you can always build an archer in your capital to defend against the barbs there. That is not something you can do in your other cities, but in your capital, you are safe from barbs. They might destroy everything else, but they will not destroy your city. I suppose one of the things you could do, and someone might ask in the comments, is to take God of the Forge here as your Pantheon, to have 25% production towards ancient and classical military units. I suppose that technically it's something that could be helpful. I would recommend never ever taking a Pantheon specifically to fight barbarians. It's just not worth it. Earth Goddess is so powerful. The Free Settler is so powerful. It just doesn't make sense to lose that much power because of barbarians. So I would just recommend, if God of the Forge is your way of currently dealing with barbarians, to try and take a different approach, whether it's with Garrison, whether it's with the Discipline card, whatever it is. But try not to handicap yourself too much in the Pantheon selection when it comes to barbarians. I would just focus on getting a great Pantheon and then dealing with your barbarians as separate things. Another thing that can be really helpful for you in killing barbarians and kind of dealing with them is understanding how combat movement works. Now, this is a whole separate tutorial. Maybe we can do another time. But I know this spearman is going to see this half-health archer and want to attack it. So it's going to move up to this flatland tile. I also know that these 2 tiles are flatland as well. So my play, if I'm thinking ahead, is that this spearman will come here, right? This archer will move back and then fire over to this tile. I'll do about a third of the damage to the spearman, but crucially, I already know, because we've already talked about it, that I can heal and he cannot. So getting these little pot shots in, using every little movement advantage to your advantage, makes a big difference. So let's see if I'm correct. Let's try this out here. So we're here. I reckon if I click next turn, spearman moves out, and then I'll do like a fadeaway shot on it. There it is. There's the move. It's going to want to kill this archer. So if I back up here, because that takes up one of my 2 movement, I know that I can get a ranged attack in here. Not quite a third of its health like I thought it might be, right? But what we've done is we've injured the spearman. It's probably going to retreat back. It might come and keep attacking us, which is fine, right? But we can heal. They cannot. If that makes sense. So we've just, using movement, understanding little mechanics of the game, given ourselves a fairly big advantage just by knowing how flatland tiles work for movement as opposed to moving on hills or moving across a river. I could not do the same fadeaway if I moved across this river tile because that would take up all of my movement. I'm actually curious what the barbarian's going to do. My guess is retreat, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came to attack me either. Ooh, interesting. So now we'll test that theory. Oh, actually, we can do this twice. So I know that if I move to this tile right here, I should be able to attack this spearman. There we are. 1 movement there. So I can attack this spearman. Right, and now this spearman's really damaged, I can attack it with this archer. So again, right, I used a half-health archer kind of unintentionally to bait out the barbarians from their encampment, just by accident, just by kind of understanding how movement in combat works. So feel free to use any little advantage you can. Not every situation in the game is life or death when it comes to barbarians. They are AI, they are pretty exploitable in that way. Knowing that he was going to come out and attack this archer has unintentionally given me a big advantage in the fight and allowed me to win with no problem at all. The last thing I want to cover in this video for you guys are some of the benefits to barbarians. You know, it's not all doom and gloom. I know a lot of people hate barbarians. I hope the tips in this video have been helpful in kind of finding different ways to deal with them. It's not a comprehensive how-to. There are so many different ways and so many different interactions. But hopefully you have a good sense of kind of how you want to approach them now. The last thing I want to cover is what happens when you clear barbarian encampments, because that can be just as helpful. Running into barbarians can often be a really good thing if you have the right mindset. The first thing you're going to want to do for this is probably to go up here in your first couple of techs. Go for animal husbandry and archery. I recommend doing that in almost every deity game that we play, but in most games you won't get set far behind if you go animal husbandry into archery. Even better if you can boost archery by getting a kill with a slinger. The reason why is having archers on the field makes it super easy to deal with barbarians, especially with the Garrison promotion we talked about. All right, but now that you have this archery army, you are equipped to come and kill these camps really, really fast into the game. Now, in the first couple of eras, killing the barbarian encampment is going to give me 50 gold, so you're going to see that in just a minute here, but it's also going to give me era score, right? So I need to find, what is that, at least 15 era score to get into a normal age, 29 if I want to get into a heroic age, because I'm currently in a dark age. Right, but as you can see, it goes from 8 here, but if I clear this, it's now at 10. So it's not 3 era score, it's just 2. I made that up. But it does give me a little bit of era score, and it gave me 50 gold, which might allow me to build or buy more units to deal with the barbarians. Maybe I can get a trader now. Right? Maybe I can grab that build it or grab this diamond tile so I have some amenities. Maybe I can trade the diamonds. You can see 50 gold goes a long way in the early game, right? So killing barbarians and killing their encampments not only set you up really well with promotions for your military units, which can be super helpful, right? Going in later in the game with an archer that has a garrison promotion, that stays with it. If I combine it with another archer or another crossbowman later, right, that garrison stays with it. Right, if I upgrade it later, use the gold maybe I just got from the encampment to buy a crossbowman and upgrade this little chap into one of those, right, that promotion stays with it. So with the right mindset and with the right kind of specs in the early game, between going for archers right away, between going for discipline, you can kill these barbs. Not only do you have units that can be upgraded with promotions, which is amazing, but you have a little bit of extra gold. You have a little bit of era score. Barbarians can be very, very helpful for you in your game. Alright everyone, that is going to do it for our video on barbarians. I hope you learned something this video. It wasn't the most in-depth tutorial. There's not a lot of advanced gameplay happening here. Certainly nothing deity specific that only I can tell you. But I hope that you clicked on this video because you were having bar problems and maybe you didn't know Garrison was a good promotion that you should be taking. Maybe you didn't know to rush archers if you want to help with barbarians. Maybe you didn't even know that killing barbarian encampments gave you era score and helped you with gold, and that there's actually a plus side to chasing them down in the early game. So if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, definitely click the like button and the subscribe button. Like I mentioned earlier, it really helps expand the clan. It gets the video to more people, and that way you won't miss more videos either. We also stream Civilization all the time on twitch.tv/VanBradley. Link is in the description. You can check us out there if you want to catch us playing Civilization 6 live. All right. Let me know what you thought on the comments, you idiot, you absolute fool. In the comments, what should I do a tutorial on next? What should my next video be? You can have a say in the comments below. I'd love to keep making these videos. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.